All eyes on Hurricane Dorian tonight, gaining strength as it moves across the Caribbean toward Florida. It is forecast to be a major hurricane when it hits.
Strong winds and heavy rains impacting the Virgin Islands, while in Puerto Rico, it could have been so much worse.
And as Florida's governor declares a state of emergency, residents across the Sunshine State are racing to get ready. Your weather authority just getting that 11 o'clock advisory.
Let's get right to Chief Certified Meteorologist Betty Davis and Hurricane Specialist Brian Norcross in the Weather Authority Center with the latest.
Good evening. Hurricane hunters are confirming that Dorian is getting stronger, and check out the projected path. Not much change here, just about all of Florida in this forecast cone.
Yeah, we still have a wide variety of possibilities here because the difference in angle to come to the north part of this cone compared to the south part of the cone is so small from the distance of all the way back by Puerto Rico. So just can't. That's why the cone is this wide. It feels big, but actually the cone has been narrowing over the years. It used to be that this would go up all the way into the Carolinas. So there's a lot to say about this. The forecast is basically the same for a Category 3, remembering that anytime a Category 3 is forecast, we think Category 4. Bottom line is, if we have to prepare for this, we have to do our full everything hurricane preparations if it looks like it's coming our way, and we're probably, well, we're going to know more tomorrow. But Saturday evening is our time that we would have to really start thinking about this.
So let's talk about what we are now dealing with. What is Dorian looking like, and what are the winds like now? Maximum sustained winds are now up to 85 miles per hour. At 8 p.m., the pressure was 990 millibars. That has now dropped off to 986 millibars. Those are both signs that this hurricane is intensifying as it's moving northwest at 13 miles per hour, pulling away from those islands and obviously the center of this storm over those warm waters of the Atlantic.
Right, and look at this tail down here. Now we can see that on the radar as well. Look at the radar here. Now it looks like, well, first of all, two things to notice. One is that we see the eye getting more circular there. It looks like it might be weaker. It's not as red, but it's getting out of radar range. So that accounts for that. But very strong band here through Vieques and maybe going to affect Culebra and is affecting Culebra and the Virgin Islands still as it is pulling away, as you say.
It's doing what we would expect an intensifying hurricane to do. So heading toward the northwest as we're moving through tomorrow and into Friday. And notice that further strengthening, Brian. And notice it's also forecast to stay offshore of the southeast and central Bahamas on its journey.
It's not going to be a threat to the Bahamas here through Friday. Now, when we get to later in the week, now the central and northern Bahamas really need to watch this, and of course the entire state of Florida. Now, let me just emphasize what I said a moment ago. If you look at this line here, I don't want you to get confused about that time. That's where the center would be. But because if the storm were there, it would have a big area of wind. The winds would be arriving as early as Saturday evening. So where we stand right now, Saturday evening is the time on this schedule. If we have to go into full preparation, that's when we have to be done. So let's talk about what's really driving this
The
thing.
steering and that high pressure you've probably been hearing a lot about. Will it be strong? Will it be weak? That will be the great determining factor in terms of where this system will be heading.
Right. So here, if the high is strong and then the nose of the high is here, that will force the storm down, and that's when it becomes a bigger threat here in South Florida. If the high is weak and the nose of the high is here, then the storm goes a little farther to the north, right? So exactly what that high is going to be is how the models are actually different, and we can actually see that when we plot the models on top of the cone.
We're looking at the European model, and eventually we're going to plot on the American model, the USGFS. But here's the European, and there's the USGFS. Different in placement for the system on Sunday, but both showing the notion of a hurricane just offshore.
Right, and the idea is the GFS has a weaker high, the European has the stronger high. That accounts for their different location, and we just don't know. We can't be sure about exactly how strong that high is going to be. So that's why the cone takes up the whole state of Florida. And
that's why we're telling the entire state, have your hurricane plan in place. We know it's frustrating. We're not trying to frighten anyone, but the uncertainty is there in terms of where this is going to move ashore. And right now, South Florida is in the forecast cone.
Right. So tonight, your instructions are to get ready, right? Think about what you're going to do, because starting to get ready, you'll do that tomorrow and especially Friday, and it'll be done on Saturday if it comes our way.